Hello, good hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Challenge. We have two American blended whiskeys. This is Clubhouse. Oh, this is Four Queens 101. It's 101 proof. It's blended and bottled in New Jersey. Kasser Laird, really Laird, because Kasser got bought out by Laird, but the bottle says Kasser Laird. It was obviously a Kasser, a Philadelphia brand, before it was acquired by Laird and Company. Aged 3 years, 80% grain spirits, 20% straight bourbon, or well, straight whiskey, probably bourbon, but it doesn't say that, it just says straight whiskey. Got this for $11.99 at Martin Wine Cellar in Metairie, Louisiana. Competitor, Clubhouse. I got this for $5.99 at Savannah Discount. But they also sell it for $5.99 at International Market in Metairie, Louisiana. International Market. Now this is a liter bottle. So we're talking about a liter of American blended whiskey for $5.99. Crazy, right? Well, sometimes the truth is crazier than the fantasy. Live the fantasy. Blended whiskey with natural flavors. Oh, golly gee. And caramel color. Oh, boy. From our friends at Kentucky Standard Distillers, Bardstown, Kentucky, 40004, which, oddly enough, is the same address and zip code as Heaven Hill Distilling. Well, of course, if you look on the Heaven Hill website under product specifications, they have this listed, you know. So, oh, this glass. Let me go do something with this glass here. Well, that's a little better. The glass was clean. I just had started using this new sponge, and it has some kind of coating on it, I guess, to protect it from dry rotting and shipping and storage. But it gets on all the glasses and plates, and it's sticky in it. Now, once you use the sponge like about 4 times in it, it goes away, and then this lasts for months. You say it must be some kind of asbestos, probably some kind of toxic thing from China, probably. Booze Review says, looking forward to this live stream. Thank you. Well, we're starting now. Sorry for the delay. So here we go. You would think, and you'd be incorrect, you would think that the 101 from Laird, Kasser Laird, would stand out by, maybe not because of the flavor, but you would think it's going to stand out by virtue of the higher proof. However, in the series so far with all these blind taste challenges, hasn't happened, hasn't really distinguished itself. Now, sometimes I could tell it apart, not because of the 101 being very different or have unique qualities. It's just because some of the other whiskeys I put into the challenges were so aberrant and strange that they stood out, you know. And I don't mean in necessarily a good way, like there's the train. I don't remember one of these Heaven Hill brands that tastes like pecan oil or something. It's just very like. James Frias says, "Yo, Ron, yo to you." All right, so thanks for watching. So So you can still see some of that residue. I got to get some really hot water and soap and clean this thing. I gotta even it out. 4Q, 4 queens. All right, you behave. Okay. Appearance. Well, they're both amber, so that's not a big problem. Clubhouse. I had the Clubhouse gin, which they still sell. I still see it at Total Wine. And the gin is weird, but it's like they add lemon flavoring or lemon lime flavoring to it. It doesn't say they add flavoring, but it doesn't taste like any kind of normal gin. Now the Clubhouse series, they have a clubhouse on it, and there's a crossed golf clubs and crossed fishing poles, and then there's a clubhouse in the background. You might be able to see that. There's the clubs and the poles. This is brown with cream color and gold. It's not a bad color scheme, brown, cream color, gold. Okay. Smell like regular old corn. If you don't like corn, I don't know why you're drinking bourbon. And secondly, you're not going to like American blended whiskey because it's similar to bourbon in the sense that they're using mostly corn products. The difference is that American blended whiskey is using unaged raw grain spirits blended with about 25, 30, well, let's say 30 down to 20% straight aged whiskey. Has to be aged at least 2 years. Other than that, there's really no difference. If you took the grain spirits and you aged them in a new charred oak barrel for 2 years, then it would be bourbon. So what's the difference between White Lightning or moonshine and bourbon? The moonshine's clear because it's not aged, and the bourbon is reddish brown because it's aged in a charred oak barrel. So that's really, the difference. Okay. And then the grain spirit is probably 100% corn, where the bourbon might be a blend of bourbon, corn and rye whiskey, wheat whiskey, barley whiskey. Doesn't have to be, could be 100% corn. However you want to make it, baby. All right. If it goes below 20%, then it's what we call spirit whiskey. Those exist. I've seen them. Mathern's had Rebecca Creek spirit whiskey. It was like 19% grain, 19% straight bourbon, and 81% grain spirits. I never bought the stuff. A, because I didn't know what to think of spirit whiskey, and secondly, it was too expensive. Flavor. Oh boy. Lincoln Clay says, you're a professional alcoholic. Well, you're a professional hater. All right. And you should learn to love. Never learn not to love. Never learn not to love. All right. And your brother's name is Bill Clay, right? Bill Clay. You smoke? Yeah. All right. Oh yeah. You say also, well, I'm not one. So speak for yourself, buddy boy. All right. You ever notice about alcoholics? They always want to include everybody else in there. They'll say, we're all alcoholics. I'm like, wait, no, that's you. You're the one with the drinking problem. Don't try. But, misery loves company and all of that stuff. They always try to drag people in, And I tell them, nope, 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 nope. See, I can go somewhere and just drink water. You can't, because I'll go to these baseball games and they'll say $9 for a beer, but they'll buy it. See, because they got to have it. It's like they're getting the heebie-jeebies. You know, they're starting to catch. They're starting to get what you call that. Starting to get Well, they've got a monkey on their back. That's the expression for an addiction, a monkey on their back. But they oh yeah, they're getting a Jonesing for a drink. You know, the heroin addicts usually they'll say they have a Jones. Yep, it runs in my family. Yeah, it's a problem. Well, you can get treatment for that, but I would not recommend Alcoholics Anonymous because they use the wrong approach. Because they teach it as a sickness, you know. It's a sickness. It's not your fault. Well, it's not a sickness in the classic sense. You didn't walk down the street and catch alcoholism like you caught a virus, you know. That's an illness. You caught a virus. You know, no fault of your own. You're just walking down the street. Whereas alcoholism, so-called, as they call it, more accurately, problem drinking, that develops from mostly bad habits or bad behavior. You know what I'm saying? Like you're culpable in it. Like Alcoholics Anonymous will say, "Oh, you're not culpable. It's not your fault." Well, no, it is your fault, and you're culpable because you helped create the problem. You know, when you were 17, you want to be cool. You know, we're at a party, man. We got a party ball, man. We're funneling shots and all of it. Good morning, Ron. Peace and sunrise, says Maxwell. Thank you. So, you know, it develops that way. You see, and it's like gambling addiction. It doesn't start off as an addiction the day you started. They usually start casually and they build. So, but it can be solved. The problem can be solved, and it's not from watching inspirational videos. Okay, G and JK said, I've been loving the reviews for years, but anyone who drinks rot gut whiskey at dawn on a regular basis is an alcoholic. Nobody really cares, though. Yeah, I'm not really drinking it, though. See, that's the difference. I'm tasting it. It's a tasting, so... I'm more addicted to coffee. Now, I'll admit that, because coffee, and I just don't feel, if I don't drink coffee every day, I feel sick. And caffeine is like but it's not, but caffeine, the good thing about coffee, it's not, a psychedelic. It doesn't change the way you think. It's a stimulant. So it makes you feel better and all that. Alcohol is a depressant. Beer, wine, liquor, gin, rum, brandy, American blended whiskey is a depressant. So it's like slows you down, man. It's a downer, man. So it relaxes people, and that's why they drink it. It's a social lubricant and whatnot. Booze review. I used to have a gambling problem, although I didn't find it hard to quit when I knew I had to. Well, that's good. See, some people can just quit cold turkey, like it's over quickly. Other people can't. But gambling is a bad habit because it's a loaded game in the sense that the house is going to win. It's a rigged game. They're not in business to be your friend or give you free meals and room nights. That's part of the hook. They're in business to separate you from your money. Of course, there's got to be a little bit of a payout or there'd be no customers, you understand? So but it is addictive, and there's some psychological theories about it. It's called now what kind of reward schedule is it? It's a variable ratio schedule. All right, so variable ratio reward schedules, for whatever reason, cause addiction for not everyone, many people. A variable ratio means the payoff varies according to ratio, and the ratio varies. It's not a fixed ratio. You'll sometimes win the money at the casino. Most time you won't. But that's called a variable ratio schedule. You just don't know when it's going to happen. So these people get some kind of like endorphin rush, dopamine rush in their head, and they just go crazy over it. You know, they'll just squander all their money away, like live as a hobo. They could have a company, own a big company, make $200,000 a year, and they'd be living on the street in 5 years because they went berserk gambling. It's a sad situation. But that's not an indictment against all gaming. You see, we have Puritan extremists in America. And so their attitude is, well, if some people get addicted to gambling, that means we should ban all gambling because some people get addicted to it. Or because some people develop problem drinking, which is no doubt about that, we have to ban all drinking, ban all liquor. So you have these fanatics, right wing or left wing, and you can always tell a fanatic because a fanatic is someone who demands that everyone does what they demand. You know, they insist that everyone does what they demand. They don't really believe in free choice, liberty, principles of freedom. They believe in tyranny, and they'll do anything. They'll drop bombs on your town in order to save you. You know those type of people. Always dangerous, and I've met them left and right wing. They're always crazy. You know, they're always like deep down inside they're crazy. You know, they're crazy. Let's see. Well, this is not much of a challenge, I'm glad to say. The one in my left hand could be to your right, obviously, because a mirrored image, which is the case anytime you're looking at somebody, your left is their right and their right is your left. But this is just standard. So the flavor here is just standard whiskey, like the U.S. government requires. Actually, it has the aromas and flavor generally associated with whiskey. That's the quote. That's the legal regulation. It's actually a regulation. American blended whiskey has to, quote, have the aromas and flavors generally associated with whiskey, unquote. So it would be illegal to sell this and it tasted like orange juice, or sell it and it tasted like rum. I don't know how you'd win that case. The judge would have to taste it, you know? But I mean, theoretically, that would be the case. This stuff here, it does have the aromas and flavors generally associated with whiskey, but with an aberration to it. All right, it's like it ain't right. I don't know what kind of flavor in there added. It says with natural flavors. Blending sherry apparently is the only flavoring you can add to whiskey without it becoming a liqueur. But Heaven Hill, when they put a cheapo on the market, it screams cheapo. Like it exemplifies cheap. Like if you said, what could you let me try or sample, that would be the quintessential bad product for what, you know, for whiskey. Oh, I could in a snap name off a bunch of Heaven Hill brands and I'd say, go buy that. And you'd say, oh, wow, what is wrong with this stuff? And I would say, I don't know what's wrong with it, but it's just obviously not right. And they sell it with a straight face, you know, like it's a regular product. There it is at Total Wine & More, Clubhouse whiskey. And the funny thing is Total Wine & More, they're a kick because I don't care how low grade the product is. It could be the most just unappealing beverage you ever ran across, like Clubhouse. And they'll have this beautiful, like James P. Madonna says, time for the violins, the beautiful description of the intricate nature of Clubhouse is exemplified by its unique pecan oil aroma and taste, you know, and they're gonna take something bad and make it sound good, you know. Ah. Ooh. I'll tell you what, it almost like it has tobacco in it. On its own merit, like in isolation, if you drank this, you could, I guess, make the argument that these qualities were good. Like, you know, a pecan is a good type of nut to eat. Pecan oil is useful enough. It's like, so like you could say, yeah, you know, this has some approachable qualities and whatnot. But it's not supposed to taste like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you ate chocolate ice cream, but it tasted like a sweet pickle. It'd be disgusting. You know, on its own, a sweet pickle might be fine. You make sweet relish, whatever. But so it's an aberration. It doesn't match up. So it confuses your mind. You know, you're not getting what you expect. You're drinking whiskey and you're getting pecan oil. It's just, it ain't no good. Would I ever buy Clubhouse again? Never. And you say, what if you lost your job and you needed whiskey and that's all you could afford? Well, I don't need whiskey, so I wouldn't buy it. I don't even, I've said this, and people apparently don't believe it, but I've said it numerous times. I do not drink liquor on its own merits. Like, I don't drink liquor. I never drink it. I never say, oh, I'm going to have a drink. I just don't do it. I'm sorry. That may seem disappointing to people, upsets them or whatever. The only time I ever consume liquor is during a taste challenge, like now, or a solo review, or if David and I do a duo review, which is rare. We hardly ever do that. But I mean, we do it for beer a lot, but not for liquor. So it's just the truth. I had students ask me in high school when I taught high school, hey, did you ever smoke marijuana? And I would tell them no. And then they would accuse me of lying. You're lying. You went to high school in the 80s. Everybody smoked marijuana. I said, well, I don't know what movies you've been watching, but I never did. I said, now, if I told you I did, you'd be like offended. Oh, my teacher smoked dope. But I'm telling you I never did. And now you're offended because you're accusing me of lying. I said, why do you ask the question? I can't win, right? So if I tell you no, you can say I'm lying. If I say yeah, you're thinking, oh, a teacher shouldn't admit to that. But I said, believe what you want. But they believe me. You know, I've never been into gambling. I don't plan on starting. It ruins so many people's lives, says Lincoln. There's no doubt about it. I never went to a casino or a strip club. Lucky, so I don't know about the. Well, that's like casino is potential poison. Although on its face, prima facie, you know what I'm saying? On its own, it's not like, you know, immoral on its face. Although it's dangerous, like fire, you know, you can cook with fire and you can burn yourself alive with it. Whereas a strip club is like, the whole premise is immoral, and it's usually those kind of places are like a front for organized crime and prostitution rings and who knows what else. I mean, those are obviously, the whole concept of it is organized crime and bad things. So I've never been to those kind of things either, and I would avoid them at all costs. I mean, I might go if they were having some kind of like social uproar and they were burning it, you know, something like that. All right, anyway, thanks for watching this video production. And oh, this is the Clubhouse, obviously. And it loses, and it's so distinctive in a bad way. I have drunk whiskey at dawn, though, on several occasions. Well, that's good. All right, I got to go turn on the news. Well, maybe that's not good. I got to go turn on the news. So thanks for watching, everybody. Four Queens wins this one because they had a bad competitor.